And benvenuti, fellas and bellas all over the world. Welcome back to the Napoli Rant. I am Raff, joined by my co-host, the vicar of it, Soviet, Rafa. Why are you, Rafa? Rafa. You know, and he got like the new internet. He was bragging about it yesterday.
What's up, Rafa?
You are pixelated, my friend. What's going on?
What's happening right now? What's happening?
I don't know. You tell me, man. Somebody lied to you at the
warming up.
Is it?
Dude, I'm supposed to have all this crazy new internet, saved all this money, got rid of all this old equipment, and now look what's going on.
Oh, welcome back. Welcome back, everybody in the chat as well as our audio listeners. Let's get this rant on the road. BX Dom in the house. Let's ride, baby.
Yo, what's up, man?
That was one weathered looking Santa. No, you're back, Rafa. I think we got your back. Look at these Christmas.
All right. What's up, Rafi?
Chilling.
What's going on? Dom. Max down, Chris Estrada, DeLuca, everybody's here. Everybody's here to see us, man.
Finally caught one of these. Yeah. Salvador de Brita says, Biz, the green on your sweater is the background. Yeah, it's so funny because now like the Scudetto's looking like a French flag or something. I look like a French World War II plane symbol over here. Yes, these are green. I have a green screen, and now
I never.
Sorry,
I never knew that Maradona won League.
I don't know, but look, he's having a nice drink here. Look at this guy right there.
Yeah, he is. He is
having a nice drink. I
love it. I love the sweater. I love the sweater. Peep the EA7 hats though. This is a Christmas gift from Ali. Merry Christmas.
Did anybody in the chat get
Christmas gift so that we could any Christmas swag? And everybody, check out my Napoli tree. Check it out. What do you think of my Napoli tree, everybody? I think
it's beautiful.
Decorate a Napoli tree, and I wanted it to. Thank you very much. We remember we had for Halloween we had Gabagool over here. Now we got Tree of Napoli. And hey, also speaking of celebrating Napoli, today is the birthday of the city of Napoli.
Is it?
That's a little tidbit that I realized earlier today. Yeah, over 2,000, almost 3,000 years old, man.
Nice.
So
look at that.
Napoli's birthday is today.
We're old now. We're like historic. We're ancient.
We're pretty old. Yeah, we were around for the olden days. That's for sure. But Raff, what have you been up to, man? How you been doing?
You know what? Just 'tis the season. Everybody knows I'm in hospitality. You are in hair, and for us, this is like the season for us. And it was kind of good that maybe the World Cup came and gave us a little bit of a break. It seems like most of the content creators across the board, but we had to come back before Christmas, at least before the day before this weekend, and just kind of talk with everybody because I missed it so much that I was like,
absolutely,
Rafa, you called me up. Yes, that is the Maradona sweater, sir, right there, man. Bang. All right, there you
go. Not to steal your thunder.
Please,
your thunder,
go ahead.
Ralph Pizarro.
Oh, go right ahead. Look at that. Look at that one. And that's a Napoli shirt, just so everybody knows. You can see, look, right there. You see the little Napoli logo on the bottom.
Instead of putting my shirt over my head, maybe I can just pull it down. There you go. Merry Christmas. It's a Napoli shirt. I got this when Ali gave me the Halloween shirt to wear for Halloween.
Yes.
She got me this Christmas one too. It's a little much or it's a little small, so why not get the T-shirt with the hat? Match it up.
Bang.
With the hat for the star over there.
Bang.
And yeah. This is the season, brother. Yeah, we wanted to get on before Christmas to say hi to everybody, 2 weeks away today from the restart of Serie A. I can't wait.
I cannot
The
wait.
break was well needed,
These
like you
past
said.
yeah, I mean, it was nice in one way. It was crappy in another because we didn't get Napoli. I mean, and those friendlies, they don't do it for you really. But it was a nice, it was a good fix. It was a good fix to have. So I did enjoy the friendlies. It gave me a little bit of a buzz. That was nice.
Sure. Win or lose, and the World Cup is the World Cup, man. And I thought this was going to be a really rough month. 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it is that we were off. But to be quite honest with you, I enjoyed the World Cup a lot. I really did. And Argentina are the world champions now. Lionel Messi has achieved the dubious honor of the World Cup, something that has eluded him his entire career. He is a world champion. And the thing for me is that now everybody says that this cements his GOAT status. I definitely, I'm on that, we'll get into Maradona versus Messi, but I do believe that Messi's World Cup, this was Messi's World Cup. I think he played better in this World Cup than he did in the one that they went to the final in 2014, where he got best player as well. Buon Natale, Gianluca. But yeah, man, like Argentina, I'll never forget watching that first game where they lost to Saudi Arabia and thinking, this is it, it's over. Mexico are going to eliminate Argentina and Messi's going to be out of the World Cup. Yet they pulled it together. They got to the final. My prediction, actually, Ralph Pizzato, and I can attest to this, and I have proof. My prediction way back in April of 2022, when the draw was Argentina, France in the final, but I had France winning it. They got the time, knowing how great Benzema was playing, knowing how, we had guys like, Pogba and Conte, they were still in the running to play. I thought Argentina, was a great team. I thought that they'd get to the final for sure. But I think that France were going to win it. So for a reason only, and even given with it, notwithstanding all the injuries they went through and the players that they were missing, I stuck with my prediction for France because of the way they played with Mbappe and everybody else that covered for these injured players that were out. And I just, for some reason, I felt they were going to win until the day of. When I woke up in the morning, I woke up and was like, Messi's winning this World Cup. I know it for sure. This Argentina team, this attack, it was just so prolific. But also, never mind just Argentina. Ralph, how much of this World Cup did you actually get to watch? Like, did you watch any of it? Did you get to see some of these smaller teams really just kind of perform out of their minds?
Well, I watched bits and pieces of it, and I definitely looked over all the highlights for the games I couldn't catch, or even the games I did catch. I was watching. They had all the goals. They had a montage of that. I watched that. But I really was rooting, since Italy wasn't in. I mean, I was really rooting for the U.S., of course, and I was really going for all the underdogs this year. I have a lot of Croatian friends and family, so I definitely cheer them on when they played. Although during the third place cup, I was actually rooting for Morocco. Because I like the story. First African team to reach a semifinal. They could have been the first African team to win in third place. I think that's really cool. And it was kind of like this Cinderella story for them a little bit. They beat Spain.
Then they beat Portugal.
We saw Brazil going out. It was definitely, all the things considering, like I almost starting to feel bad a little bit with all that was surrounded from the World Cup, between the timing and social issues and go on and so forth. It really does kind of put a stain on everything. I really tried not to concern myself too much about all that and just enjoy it for what it is. Enjoy watching the athletes. I watched Senegal. I watched, Koulibaly banging that winning goal. I was so happy.
The match winner against Ecuador. Yeah, that was something else, man. That was a moment. And these are moments that these players will
you can only get in the World Cup too,
Exactly. You think about it in the Napoli perspective, right? Let's look at it in the Napoli perspective. So you had former players, Cavani. This is most definitely his last World Cup. He kind of went out on a sour note. You had Mertens, who didn't really perform well. Neither did Belgium. He had his goal. He had his goal in 18. Actually, he opened the scoring for Belgium in the 2018 World Cup. So that's got to be something. That's got to carry with him forever, since he didn't do too much here. But Koulibaly's moment came, and I got to tell you, I'd never been more proud when I saw him celebrate that, when he banged that goal in, and I cheered so hard for him, man. I was really pushing for him to do well and go far. They were my dark horse. I thought if any African team was going to get to a semifinal, that it would be
Senegal. Right.
But, even without Sadio Mane, but they were missing Sadio Mane, who went out to injury right before, which was a really big blow. But I thought they were gonna make it, man, and that winner against Ecuador just made me feel so good for him. I was so happy for him. Then you look at the current Napoli crop of players that were there. 5 players. Zielinski got his goal against Saudi Arabia, which was awesome. A goal and an assist. I believe he assisted Lewandowski's goal too. I could be mistaken, but he got his goal. Lozano didn't really perform too well for Mexico. Zielinski and Lozano shared a nice little moment together after their match.
Yeah, I saw that they
trading jerseys. That was really cool.
Right.
I believe that was a draw. I think that was a 0-0. But yeah, and then you had Oliveira for Uruguay, who played pretty good, but they didn't get very far. Anguissa for me was really good on a Cameroon that could have made it. I'm really happy that they got a win in the World Cup against Brazil. Was it Brazil they beat? Cameroon? Oh, yeah. I believe they beat Brazil. Listen, Brazil, France, Argentina, Spain, these guys, they all lost matches. You know what I mean? Sure. To smaller teams. Portugal, they lost matches. And then it was Kim Min-jae. Kim Min-jae for Korea. They got the winner against that was the game. They got the winner against Portugal. I was happy for Kim Min-jae. I was a little upset of what he said about how because he pulled up with a little injury. Remember that? He had a little bit of an injury during the World Cup, and he said, no matter how I feel, I'm playing that game. If it means long-term injury, I don't care. I'm playing for and I get it. You're proud of your country. You want to play. You want to represent your country at the World Cup. He's a young kid. He's going to be back to the World Cup. Don't put yourself at risk. Right. Plus also, if I'm the manager, I don't want my player to play that's hurt. I'd rather him rest up for the next round. They didn't make it. Oh, did they make it to the next round? I don't remember if they made it to. I think they did. I think Korea made it. Yeah, Korea made it to the next round. They lost in the. No, did they? I don't know. Whatever.
Well, either way, Kim's not injured, so that's he took a little knock, but he's healthy. But yeah.
Yeah, he's healthy. He's healthy, and I'm happy that he's healthy. But it just kind of irked me just a little bit, and you guys all know I love international soccer. I'm all for representing your country. I do not subscribe to the fact that players should stay home for their clubs. I think that they should play for their country. That's my thing. But if you're gonna risk yourself further, those words, I don't know, they just stung me just a little bit. But that's neither here nor there. Hopefully in the 26th World Cup, we have a little more Napoli representation. It'll be in the summer again. It'll be here. We can go see them. We can cheer them on and all that.
That'd be awesome.
But at the end of the day, I was really happy with this World Cup. I'm happy it's over too, and everything's coming back. And again, we were off. There was a week. The World Cup started. The World Cup's over. There's a week. There's Christmas, New Year's. Boom, Napoli's back. January 4th, Inter, right? And there you go. It's as if, we didn't miss a beat, I think.
Yeah, but again, Ralph, I'm with you. It was. I'm glad it happened. I'm glad we got through it. I'm glad our players at the very least, are healthy. I'm happy for Messi. I'm happy for Messi. There was a lot of talk about the whole, the whole GOAT talk with Messi, Maradona, or the Raffs. We think it's the Raffs. The Raffs are definitely goated.
The Raffs are definitely the GOATs. Yeah. Yes.
Just,
if there are two GOATs in that heading, it's the Raffs. That's for sure.
Raffs, yeah. The thing is, it's kind of like the LeBron versus Michael Jordan talk. These two guys are generational talents. Me personally, I don't really like to compare two different generations. Like, one can make a good argument, Ronaldo versus Messi maybe, but, leave Maradona in his space and let champions, Rafa. It doesn't matter Messi will go down as one of the greatest of all times, and so is Maradona. That's just the way it goes. It's like Maradona or Pele. It doesn't matter. Pele was king of the 70s and the 60s.
Right.
Maradona was king of the 80s, early 90s. Now Messi's, king of the 2010s or whatever. So every generation has a talent, and it's great that Maradona was, certainly a legend in this game and happened to be on Napoli. And I think it's easy to kind of fall into a little biasm when we have these conversations. But
yeah, absolutely.
But without a doubt, what Maradona did was great, and he did it on, even with not just the World Cup, but even some would argue about how big a Scudetto is, winning in Italy for Napoli, especially. No easy task. Certainly more difficult for Maradona to win a Scudetto in Italy with Napoli than I think it was for Messi to win multiple titles with Barcelona. That's for sure. Yeah, Messi might have had a better team, but again, he also had to be the player who he was to do the things that he can do with all this talent around him. So it's certainly, a performance that I appreciate that we were able to see. I'm happy for the guy that he lifted up a World Cup, and I enjoy all of it. I'm happy for both Argentinians and Argentina. So for me, I'll stop right there for that. Okay. But I think the Raffs should definitely get the trophy.
The Raffs are the GOAT, that's for sure. We would, you and I would tear Maradona and Messi off the pitch, man. We that. Come on.
Yeah, come on. Listen, if you got Maradona and Messi running at Raff and Raff, they're not. There's no chance.
No way.
We'll even take Moret in goal. Just kidding.
Here's my quick take. Well, Messi for me winning this World Cup put him in a new tier, right? He went from the middle tier or the the one rung under top of the ladder, right? Where sits Messi, where sits Maradona, Pele, and for me Zidane. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys that before Messi won this World Cup, my top three was always Maradona, Pele, Zidane, right? A lot of people forget about Zidane and how great he was winning with France, winning with Real Madrid, just being an overall, superstar talent, right? That being said, Messi winning this World Cup definitely knocks Zidane off a rung and puts him up there with Maradona and Pele. You said it. Messi had an all-star cast with him throughout his Barcelona career. And some might say Messi had a better team with Argentina every single World Cup than Maradona had in the 80s, where he won one in 86 and got them back to the final in 90. It's funny because a lot of us are saying things like, well, Messi at 35 did it. And, it's not like their team is anything amazing either. No, my opinion, was one of the best teams that Messi ever had. And that's one of the reasons why he won. I dare somebody to tell me right this second, without looking it up on Google, give me another 2 names that ran with Maradona in Argentina. Now, I know, it's 87, it's 86 and 90, so not a lot of us are going to remember all of that back then. But the point I'm trying to make is there were no superstars on that team with Maradona, right? Maybe Passarella, maybe Burachaga. They weren't superstars. They were okay players. They had okay players, and Diego Armando Maradona took those players that he chose, by the way, because there was a lot of talk about him selecting his team. These players that Maradona knew that he could run with, that he could mold into better players. Good players into better players. That's exactly what he did with Napoli. Like you said, he won Scudetti, he won Coppa UEFA, which at the time, the UEFA Cup, which is now the Europa League, the UEFA Cup was a very serious, prestigious trophy to win in Europe. And he won it with Napoli, with guys like Ciro Ferrara, who was a youngster. Fernando Di Napoli, who was good but wasn't the best. Renica, Abani, goalkeepers that, Giordano, all these guys at Carnevale, these are good players, but they're not. Some of them won a Scudetto in recent times, but at that time, but they weren't household names. They weren't superstars. Messi had. Look at his teams with Barcelona; they were stacked. I'm sorry, yes, Messi did a lot for that team. He scored so many goals. There was a time he scored 91 goals in this calendar year. He won so many trophies. He was a protagonist. He was the best. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he wasn't. But I guarantee if we had a time machine, went back in time, and took Messi out of the equation at Barcelona, I promise you, Barcelona win at least 50% of the trophies that they won, right? I guarantee you they still win at least 50% of the trophies without Messi in there. That's how good their team was all throughout these years. They had the greatest managers. They had the greatest players. They had a team built to win.
But Rafa, you're saying that Barcelona will miss out on half of their success because of one player. I mean, doesn't that validate them?
Look at the amount of success they had. You take Maradona out of Napoli, Napoli don't win shit.
Right.
You take Messi out of Barcelona, Barcelona still win 2 or 3 Champions Leagues. They still win 5 La Liga. You know what I'm saying? You understand where I'm coming from? Barcelona before Messi really only won 1 Champions League before them, and it wasn't even the Champions League yet. It was the European Cup back when they beat Sampdoria in the final, right? In 1991 or 1990, whenever it was. They only won once, and it's not like they were lighting it up year after year after year, right? They had guys like Eto'o and Ronaldinho. Yes, they did. But it wasn't until Messi came around when, they really tore it apart. And the players, look at that 2000, I think it was a 2009.
Rafa though, how many players on that Barcelona team though came up through Barcelona? Like, how many of those players played with each other? Mind you, it's kind of like the argument I make, with like Mertens or Koulibaly. Who were they before they invested 8 years into Napoli as a team together? You know what I mean? Like, they were without a doubt good players, but
at the beginning, you had Thierry Henry, you had Sammy Eto'o, you had I think Ibrahimovic was on the team at one point. I think maybe it might have been with Messi. I don't remember, but you also had who did I just mention? It was Ronaldinho was on the team.
Right.
So they had superstar players. And there's a lot of the players came up in the Barcelona ranks too. That's fine. And that's a tribute to Barcelona and how they did their business. But what I'm trying to say is that most of that Spain team that won in 08, 10, and 12,
right,
were half were Barcelona players. I mean, the other half were Real Madrid players, yeah.
Mm.
But half those players were Barcelona players, and they won the Euro, the World Cup, and then the Euro consecutively, right?
Right.
And what did Messi do with Argentina during those years? They even had Maradona as the manager in 2010. They couldn't do anything. Where they still had, I think they had still Riquelme. They had, Mascherano. They had Cambiaso. They had, Ayala. They had players that were really, really protagonists that could have won World Cups with Messi. And Messi, to be fair, Messi in his early World Cup days just didn't really cut the mustard. He matured. Here's what happened. Messi took on this U-turn when he quit the national team, and Scaloni said, "Please don't quit. Come back. I'm going to manage. We're going to turn this around." That was the turning point. That was when he developed an attitude like Maradona used to have. That's when he developed this no bullshit, and he went out there and represented for his country. Because I can remember countless times Messi being either in finals or in tournaments and not showing up for Argentina. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When did Maradona ever not show up with Argentina?
Gotcha.
When did Maradona ever not show up at Napoli? Like that's what sets them apart. So in my opinion, Messi winning this World Cup establishes him as a level because listen, Napoli fans are biased. Napoli fans are going to say this. Napoli fans are always going to say, yes, Maradona's always going to be better than Messi. But in my opinion, I'm okay with leveling them out because Messi did what Messi did, Maradona didn't do. And when it comes to goals, stats, trophies won, blah, 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 right? But what Maradona did, Messi couldn't do. But the thing is Maradona did it in a time where we didn't have all the facilities that they have now. We didn't have the beautiful pitches with pristine grass. We didn't have it with you tug on a shirt and it's a foul. You know what I'm saying? Back then, Maradona would have his legs broken and they barely called a foul. Now, the fouls that they pulled on Maradona now would suffer 3 matches on at home. You know what I'm saying? If it rains too much, they don't play now. Back then, you take a look at any Napoli Milan highlight from 1986 to 1990, and you'll see that the grass is all mud and Maradona's white kid is brown, and they're playing on those fields. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
And he did what he did on those fields that Messi will never have to deal with now. You know what I'm saying? So that's why for me, if gun to the head, who's better, it's always going to be Maradona. But I don't mind putting Messi at level with Maradona because what he did was also amazing. 35 years old, 2 goals in the final, scored his penalty kick, 7 goals in the World Cup. You know what I mean? Like, this was his World Cup. Yes, he had the help and he had the great players alongside him, but he also showed up. And it's something that Ronaldo couldn't do. So for me, the Messi-Ronaldo fight is way over. Ronaldo is gone for me. He's down a rung or 2. Like what Messi did at this World Cup versus what Ronaldo did was just solidified to me. The GOAT of this era is Lionel Messi. No ifs, ands, or buts. No questions. Ronaldo's out of the picture.
Fair enough. There you have it, folks. Well, speaking of World Cup and how it posed a distraction for some while the leagues were away, we find out just shortly after the World Cup begins that, oops, Juve did it again. Oops, now we'll touch on this briefly. Well, we have no choice because if you search for news, you can barely find anything. But here we go. Now, I don't blame refs or players now, but now you got administrations, finagling and doing some shady stuff with the money and salaries and all these little things, and then we get a complete what's the word? Escapes my mind. No, when everybody walks. Resignation from the board of directors.
Mass exodus.
Juve merda style from Juventus,
like none other.
Like a ghost in the night, like wind, just and gone. And most of us were scratching our heads. Most of us were.
I mean, I'm scratching my head right now.
I'm still scratching my head. I'm scratching my head because it's a little warm and I'm itchy. But I just like Rafa. And it's like I don't even know the details, right? Because everything's under investigation. Right. I know that basically the reason why they resigned was that they had to go and get an approval for the budget with the committee of budget in Italy or whatever. And essentially if they had said that the numbers were correct, they would have been lying and got caught. And if they asked for more money, it would have validated that they were scheming and so on and so forth. Just a big mess. So they decided, let's not say anything, let's resign. So technically we can't be found guilty, but they're not technically innocent either. Now this is going on and we have to figure out, nobody knows if there's, what will be the penalties. It could be just legal actions against these people, against the administration. It could be point deductions. It could be a whole load of stuff, that can happen, and we just don't know yet. And then when we're digging through, you don't even find a lot. So yeah. I guess the investigation is ongoing. But I just feel like if this was any other team, or if maybe this was Napoli, there'd probably be news. Mm-hmm. Somewhere all over the place. I mean,
so when you think about
maybe I'm being spiteful. I don't know.
Nah, I don't know about that. But when I think there's some truth to that. But when you think about it too, the Italian way of things is never quick, So just because there's no real news lately coming out about what's going on doesn't mean that there's nothing going on. There's something going on. Yeah. I'm sorry, you just don't like. Also, plugging Joe Fischetti's podcast, the Forza Napoli pod. Mm-hmm. If you want a thorough breakdown of what is going on with Juventus, check his podcast out. I want to say it was the first one since after the World Cup started. Check that out, and he'll break it down for you in like layman's terms. He does a pretty decent job with it, but honestly, it's never good. Like a lot of Juventini were trying to really justify these things. It's never good when your entire staff resigns. Like that didn't even happen in the Calciopoli scandal. Right. You have the president of the club who's also the owner, stepped down as president. You had Pavel Nedved, who's a vice president, step down. You had all these other figureheads step down as, in the front office, leaving Juve with no front office. Now they had to scramble to find out, a president and a so-and-so. I don't even know the guy's name, who the president is now. I guess he's acting president, or he took over as president for now.
Something.
But then you're also reading things like
he's Fiat's mechanic. I think he's
yeah, right. But I also not to mix playing like the players on the field into this, but now you're seeing like Vlahovic's agent just came out today.
It's like, saying, we'll be sold, right?
Yeah, he said
he's open.
Because listen, you know.
I believe this was before today, Rafa. They were talking about Vlahovic. I read this
they were, but the winter market is, meh. It's after World Cup, so that's probably.
He's staying to get sold in the winter.
Yeah,
Vlahovic loves those winter sales.
His agent said, "Don't rule." When it concerns a winter sale, he said, "Don't rule anything out." That's not very convincing. that he's going to stay and is attached to his project. There's a lot of problems going on at Juventus, and I know that they came into the World Cup break on a 6-match unbeaten or winning streak, and Allegri won Manager of the Month, which I thought was ridiculous, but whatever. They found their form again. Now they're not in Europe anymore. They're not in the Champions League anymore. What have you? Don't let that fool you. There's a lot going on with the club, and it's going to be a distraction on the pitch. It just is going to be. It is. But I think, did you bring this up? Maybe, was it you that brought this up on Twitter a few weeks ago, where you asked the question of, does Agnelli's decision to keep Allegri,
right,
was that foreshadowing what was going to happen? Because when you think about it, if Agnelli sacks Allegri and then resigns, so does the whole board.
Right.
That leaves Juventus with no board and no manager.
Right. That's a spiral down to hell waiting to happen.
There's got to be something there.
Because these articles, listen, these investigations were going back from October and all that. Yeah. So something was going on. Somebody knew something. I wonder if there was rumor going around in the club, and maybe that's why maybe the players weren't performing as well. Who knows? Maybe they were. Maybe they were. Yeah, maybe. Right. I just, to me, it's when things like this happen, somebody was quiet somewhere, or somebody knew something and didn't say anything somewhere. I mean,
right.
It's from they knew what they were doing. This was going on for 2 years now, and all these investigations come up, and all of a sudden you see this dipping for who knows what was happening with Juve. But to me, I mean, the team stunk for the past 2 years, and not just performance wise, but everything surrounding them just didn't feel good after that, and even through those.
It goes back to Ronaldo.
Right.
It was once they bought Ronaldo, they shot themselves in the foot. And you can tell, not at first, because Ronaldo at first was, listen, Ronaldo comes into a team that's a winner already. They're going to do okay. They won the Scudetto. That's fine. But my thing is, and I saw this from the beginning, they didn't win Coppa Italia. And everybody will tell me, who cares about Coppa Italia, blah, 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 blah. This is a team with Allegri that had won 4 straight doubles. That's even unprecedented. You think that 9 straight Scudetto is unprecedented. 4 straight domestic doubles in Italy is unheard of. It's unheard of. You know what I mean? Before those 4 straight doubles, there were only a handful maybe of domestic doubles. And once he came to the club, they lost the Coppa Italia, so they didn't create another double, but they also failed to do what they wanted to do, which was get to the Champions League and win it. Right? They couldn't make it past the round of 16 eventually. Now, again, that's money you're losing. But also you're paying Ronaldo all this money, and now you're kind of neglecting the team. You're neglecting to put a team around Ronaldo, because at the end of the day, Ronaldo was such a big investment that they just couldn't do it, right? And it started to trickle down, because you notice towards the end of Ronaldo's tenure at Juventus, that team was disgraceful. And if it wasn't for Ronaldo bailing them out almost every single week, they would not have won that 8th and 9th Scudetto. They wouldn't have. It's just the fact. So you got Ronaldo coming in 2018.
So you're thinking that Ronaldo kind of kept their head above water?
I think Ronaldo kept their head above water on the pitch.
Right.
But off the pitch, in the bank, it was a disaster.
Oh no, they were in the water already at that point.
They were in the water. Ronaldo
head deep.
Dude, Ronaldo, you got teams that are
like that Juve. That's how Juve. Juve in the water like this.
200 million euro a freaking year.
I can't swim. I can't swim.
It's insane.
I can't swim. Juve.
Ronaldo just completely wiped that team out. I almost feel bad. I don't. Almost. But I don't feel bad. But when you think about it, had they not gotten Ronaldo and they got better elsewhere, let's say they get Chiesa, Vlahovic early, you know what I mean? Let's just say they got those players earlier instead of Ronaldo and built around that team, they probably would have gone to a Champions League final. And that for me is also ties into the Messi Ronaldo talk, because Ronaldo was always about himself, and not the team, right? While Messi was always a team guy. Like Ronaldo would bail Juventus out. Yeah, he'd bail them out and he'd make them better because everybody else sucked at Juventus, but except for Ronaldo. But it was never about Juve, because he could have stayed with Juve instead of left, went back to United. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But now, them purchasing Ronaldo in 18 and then COVID hitting in 20 was the worst thing that could ever happen to Juve. And it's going to show. It's going to show now. I'm telling you, don't think that, because, like I said, don't think that because Juve played 6 games and won 6 games in a row, that means that they're going to come out guns a-blazing. They're not. I'm telling you, they're not. I think the best thing they have going for them is that Chiesa rested up a little bit more and should be better by the time they get back. It's probably the best thing going for them. But I don't think – and Di Maria is going to go back to Juve as a World Cup winner and a protagonist in the final. So those might help out, because Di Maria is going to be amped up and ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like I always say, when Diego brought that Scudetto back to, or that World Cup back to Naples in 1986, he said, "Okay, that's done. Let's get this Scudetto." You know what I mean? Right. Like winning. I don't.
Yeah, but does Di Maria have the same ambitions? Like does he, or at least the same motivation as maybe Maradona would have had with Napoli?
Well, that remains to be seen. That remains to be seen, because Di Maria is older too, right? He won his World Cup. He won all his stuff. You know. Right. But we'll see.
Di Maria can help, I'm sure, but
we'll see. I mean, listen, for me, Di Maria was a crappy purchase, in my opinion, for Juventus. But look what he did at the World Cup. So who knows? And then who knows about Pogba too? That's the thing. They went out and spent stupid, and now they're paying for it. So Juve, I don't feel bad for you. Something's gonna happen to you, and I can't wait to see it. But in the meantime, we have to play them. Not long after we play Inter, actually.
I think it's the end of January. No, it's like the third game in. Is it the third game in? Either way, well, let's get into our second half expectations while you check that, Rafa. And I definitely want the chat to get in on this, because we saw a few friendly games. Now, people have been asking. I know where was it? Christopher's tried to ask, and a few others. Should we worried? And my short answer is no, we shouldn't be worried. And we should take all these friendlies with a grain of salt. And I think it's
like the smallest grain of salt possible.
Yeah. Like iodized, really small salt. Not that rock salt that you pinch over the meat, like Salt Bay. Not that salt, like the really tiny salt.
Listen, the friendly losses and wins don't count. They don't count, man. We're going in. We're going in undefeated still. 1 loss in the season. Just because we lost these friendly games doesn't mean we're coming in with losses on the season. They're not losses on the season. They're not official matches. So let's stop right there.
Yeah, we all know how Italian teams feel about games that don't count. And Napoli, come on, listen, we saw
Napoli. Maradona is the 13th, by the way.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, and Dom BX is going to be there. So if anybody is in Napoli at that time, hit him up.
Dang, Dom, that's awesome. Good for you, man. That's awesome.
Jealous. Yeah, we lost the friend. Corey says we lost the friendly 5-1 in June.
Yeah,
we saw I even paid for it, so I watched all the friendlies over the summer. Because I was super curious about all these new players, and especially what was going to happen with the exit of some players, and we didn't do that well either. And that's including Cavada and Osimhen. I remember clearly how our second team, or like our non-starters, our bench players, were come up and scoring most of the goals, and our starters weren't, and we were all worried, like, oh man, what's happening here? And then well, the rest is history, as one can say. So, no, I'm not too worried. I think Spalletti tries to test different things as well during these friendlies, so we might not come off as super organized. Again, we didn't have Anguissa there. We didn't up until today. We didn't have like Politano. There's no Lozano, no Kim, no Rahmani. Granted, we haven't been playing Rahmani in a month or so during the season. No Zielinski at all. So it's no, I wouldn't, again, Christopher Estrada, are you overreacting? He asked. You're not overreacting, but I wouldn't be too worried about it. They'll get back into their groove. We're still like 8 points in front, so we got a nice cushion. Not that we should give that cushion up, but it'll help. So if there is a kind of a snag, one game or two, we have a little bit of room to make some mistake. But Inter and their players, they have to come back and find form and yada, yada, yada as well. All the teams do. As far as I'm concerned, the whole world does, because the whole world stopped. It wasn't just Napoli. So everybody's going to be more or less in the same physical or mental condition. I think it's good because some of the players who maybe had some issues with their health, regarding like muscle injuries or whatever, had some more time to kind of recuperate, so that's definitely a positive, and I'm looking forward to it. And I think we'll be all right. I don't know what to expect. I can't guess. With Inter, I wouldn't be surprised if like this game ends with a tie. I guess a draw would be okay for me. In this case, even though all season, even during Champions, like, oh, I'll take a draw versus this or Liverpool. I'll take a draw. I wanted to win every game. I still want to continue to win every game, especially when we get back. But I think just to be, I don't know if it's realistic or just not applying too much pressure to Napoli. Not that they hear me or anything, but I think they'll be okay. But I don't expect them to come out guns blazing. And if they do, hey, more power to us. But I'd rather keep my expectations slightly lower for this first game and then be surprised and enjoy it that way. So
I think one of the big factors that we're not really talking too much about is that Inter had a lot of players away on the World Cup duty, while Napoli only had about 5. Right? Only had 5 total, actually. Inter had a lot of players out. Lautaro Martinez, Dumfries, Denzel Dumfries. They had a lot of players out. Let's just, Onana was out. He came back early. My point, what I'm trying to make is Napoli had this time, like you said, to rest the players that were injured and not lose them for any of the games, right? Like Rahmani didn't miss any more games. The injured players, they didn't miss any more games. Excuse me. Wow. I think that Napoli have done so well on the road against the big clubs this season so far. So a draw against Inter, who in my opinion, I would pick. Now, a lot of people are saying Milan, but I'm picking Inter for if any team is to beat us this season at all, whether it's this game or the game at the Maradona later on this season, it would be Inter, right? I remember Christine Cupo, I asked her, I said, what team do you think, like I said, if Napoli don't go unbeaten, what's the team you think that'll beat them? She said Milan, but I said Inter. I think that Inter actually were really playing a lot better than they started coming up towards this World Cup break.
All right.
They did so good in the Champions League. And I think maybe they are the team that could beat us. I'm not saying they're going to beat us now, but again, Napoli have done so well on the road against the big teams. Look at all the big teams they beat on the road this year. Lazio, Roma, both on the road. Milan, right? Who else? Just Atalanta, right? Who were unbeaten with us. We've done well on the road, so I'm not very concerned about Inter. I'm not concerned at all about the friendlies that we're losing. I don't think it's an indication or, a part of, Drake's curse. You know what I mean? He needs to stop wearing Napoli shit though. But
especially Macron shit.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, Macron. That's for poor people.
Yeah, no doubt.
I got Macron shit. I was actually happy that he wore the vintage stuff. I thought that was kind of cool. How did he even get his hands on that? That's what I want.
I mean, so the what are you talking about? The vintage Buitoni?
No, he had the Macrons.
The Macron, yeah, it's impressive.
Where'd you get that?
There's a site. It's classic football shirts.co.uk, I believe, is a site where they sell a lot of vintage stuff. You go on it and check it out. It's really cool. But I
that Macros vintage just made me feel a little bit older. Thank you, Rob.
Yeah, someone must have tipped him off to get it over there. But yeah, I mean, like Corey said right here, I like what he said. Feels like a whole new season. Every team in Europe is in the same spot as us. ADL mentioned this before the break. This feels like, this felt like an off season. We had our retreat in Turkey, and now it feels like a new season is upon us again. But this time we have an 8-point head start.
Right. Something that I want to speak, two players in particular that I want to speak of, Rafa, right now, was one. Dom had mentioned it in the chat regarding Osimhen, and I think especially the fact that he missed out in the World Cup because he was super upset about that. He is hungry. Hungry Osimhen is a dangerous.
He's foaming at the mouth, guys.
He is foaming. Remember when I said, "Yo, Rafa, give me some credit here, validate me here." Remember when we said, if the fact when Victor got injured, and we knew he was going to be away from the game for a few weeks, I was like, Rafa, the fact that he's being kept away from the game, obviously due to injury, is going to it's going to create this, barrel full of gunpowder ready to explode, and he's going to come back and he's going to kill it. He's going to score goals.
You 100% said that. 100%.
And it happened.
Said that many times on this show. Said that many times on the show. Whenever Victor Osimhen is away for a long period of time, whether it's injury or what have you, right? It usually is injury, right? It's over when he comes back. It's over.
I have a feeling he is.
Victor and Kvara. To me, Victor Kvara tied for the MVP of the season so far. Mm-hmm. And Kvara too. Remember, Kvara finished that first part of the season with an injury. He didn't play in the last 2 or 3 games, right? Remember that? He's back, right? Raspadori's, we might have lost the last two friendlies, but Raspadori keeps scoring bomb. Did you all see? Now, again, I don't take too much stock in these friendlies right now, right? But did you guys see that goal Osimhen scored against? Oh man!
Oh, it was the
Turkish team. The first game. It was
not the one that bounced off.
Yeah, it was the one that he sort of lobbed over a player and then one-timed it into the net. Oh my gosh, it was so great. We had gone down to that Turkish team that we played against 1-0. 3 minutes later, he came out with his goal that was just fantastic. Fantastic. He's frothing at the mouth, guys. Victor Osimhen is going to absolutely eat this league for freaking dinner every single game. He will. I am not afraid of Inter. I'm not afraid of Sampdoria. I'm not afraid of Juventus or Salernitana. Those are the 4 teams that we have to play to complete the first half of the season. Because remember, we're still only at game 15. We have to play 16, 17, 18, 19. 19th game seals the first half of the season. And we also have that Coppa Italia game against Cremonese coming up. So they're going to come fast and furious, man. Yeah. Next thing you know, we'll be playing in the Champions League against who do we draw? The Germans, Frankfurt, right?
Yes.
And that'll be another big occurrence. And Ralph, I'm trying to see if this was official. I'm assuming it was official because a lot of outlets are talking about it. But Zanoli to Samp and Berezinski coming our way. What
I saw that.
about that?
So, full disclosure, I don't know much about this Brzezinski guy.
Berezinski. He was with
Brzezinski.
Poland. He was with Poland. Bartosz Berezinski. He was with Poland for the World Cup.
Well, I just don't know a lot about him. My only thing with Zanoli was that I think he just extended his contract too, if I'm not mistaken. He before the break.
I believe it was Zerbin. I think it was
Zerbin.
Yes, I could be mistaken, but I think
double
it was
check.
Zerbin.
I think it was Zanoli as well. I think ADL locked in a few guys, and believe me, he's going to lock in a few more.
Even if it was Zanoli, let's just say it was Zanoli. Let's just say, right?
I mean, it's not important to what I was going to say, but Rafa, it's really not important to the point I was going to make. The point I was going to make was that the one thing, I know Zanoli obviously is not going to really get as much time as maybe required for him to grow. So if a loan actually happens, I kind of understand, but I kind of also like the fact that he was growing under Di Lorenzo. There was captain of the team. Even though maybe Di Lorenzo coming out the gate this season wasn't at his best when it came down to kind of like one-on-one defending, but the fact that he had this leader that he's under, they're playing the same position, to be kind of inspired by his work rate, his professionalism. I like that a youngster was growing under that. So I hope the loan and giving him more time, maybe it's like a half season thing just to like, hey, get this guy some time because next year we want to use you more. Maybe it was something like that, and we're gonna get this Berna whatever guy. And sorry,
Berezinski.
Can we give him a nickname? Can we call him Bezzy? Can we just make a nickname?
Call him Big Bart.
Big Bart. Let's call him Big Bart.
His name is Bartosz.
All right, so
it's not that hard. Ready? We can say Kvaratskhelia.
Do it together.
Listen, if we can say Kvaratskhelia,
I can't even do that.
Wow. Listen, be,
re.
Come on.
Berre, that's what we need to do. Berezinski. Ma dai, ragazzi.
Well, you can say Zielinski, right?
I can say Zielinski. Berezinski. That was easy, Rafa.
Simple, Ralph.
Come on,
man.
Berezinski.
We have a knack for getting players with the double
double letter, double initials.
Yeah, two K's, two B's now.
Right? We got BB.
2 R's. Raffarispo. Let's go.
Rafa. That's true. Look at that.
Listen, I'm okay with this move. For me, Zanoli, he needs more time to grow. He's not going to get it at Napoli, like you said, and I don't think it's ADL's job to grow young Italian players. It's ADL's job to win a Scudetto for Napoli and to do the best thing they can. Was Zanoli a good understudy under like Di Lorenzo? Maybe he was learning a lot under Di Lorenzo. Di Lorenzo did get off to a pretty slow start in the season, but he picked it up for sure. He definitely picked it up. And bro, Di Lorenzo is not going to sit with a guy like Zanoli on the bench. Like last season when Di Lorenzo got injured, go back and look. Go back. Napoli lost to Scudetto after Di Lorenzo was injured and didn't play for 4 weeks. Right? Zanoli played his first start in Serie A was against Atalanta, and we won in Bergamo. And he did a fantastic job. After that, it was very poor. It wasn't great. It wasn't Di Lorenzo-esque, right?
Fair.
And especially in that Empoli game where we were up 2-0 and lost 3-2. Take a look at what happened there. Zanoli wasn't the best player on that freaking pitch, man. Zanoli really did it. He really did us in. And I'm not blaming him for anything, and I'm not pinning it on him, and I'm not saying get him off my club like I was for Mehmet that game. But he hasn't played a lot of minutes this season, and it's because Di Lorenzo brings something that Zanoli can't. Di Lorenzo's our captain, and he's like our Iron Man. Now, coming up in the new year, now we have to contend with Coppa Italia games. And if we want a deep run, we need fresh players. And if that means that we have to start thinking about maybe resting Di Lorenzo for a few games, we need to have adequate backup. And Berezinski is an adequate backup. He is. He's a great player.
So you're saying this is a good. So ADL is kind of trying to hedge his bet here. No, I mean,
I'm saying this is a good move, hedging his bet, because what he's doing, like you said, Ralph, is this kind of a swap deal, right? Where Berezinski is coming in, and it's like an obligation to buy later, right? I think Zanoli is only a dry loan. Don't quote me on it, guys. Somebody can come back at me and say, give me the facts, and that's great. I appreciate it. Haven't had a lot of time to look at it. But if this is a dry loan, or if he doesn't work out at Samp, he could always come back to Napoli. But at Sampdoria, he's going to play. He's going to play. They're bringing in a right back from Napoli, and Sampdoria have only scored 6 goals this season. They're so bad. They need something to get them out of this. So if they're going to bring in a young Italian player who's going to play more, they're going to do that. They're going to play him every single week, and that's good for Napoli.
Yeah, sure. It's good for his. It's good for him as well. Zanoli is almost. He looks like Di Lorenzo's little brother. Even sometimes when they play, running forward, making crosses, even if they're low crosses, just sneaky ones, to get to the attackers to try to score. Zanoli does this. I'm back and forth with it, but if he's not getting that much time now anyway. He's not gonna get that much time this season. God forbid, God willing, Giovanni Di Lorenzo stays healthy. But if in the event that something happens and he can't play for a couple weeks, does Bernes, you know what it is? I forgot what it is. I forget.
Well, you're thinking
for Big Bart to play, to come in and be able to back up Di Lorenzo and take the reins and sorry. Yeah, I've burned a few brain cells, guys. This is fucking mind to mind. But yeah, so for that I'm okay with, and I just want to win a Scudetto, and I really don't give a shit how we do it. Can I just say it like that, Rafa? I don't give a shit who the fuck plays. I don't care if we got Primavera. I don't care if we got I don't care if we got fucking Napoli Femminile on the goddamn pitch. I don't care. I want to win a Scudetto.
That's right.
E basta. Young, old, whoever.
I want people
to pronounce your name. I can't pronounce your name. Whoever it is, I want to win.
Trust me, Berezinski's a better backup. Put it this way. Right now. Because play the kids, train the Italians, blah, 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 blah. Listen to me. Right now, we're not playing for tomorrow. Okay, we've been playing for tomorrow since 2007. Okay, right now, the better backup for Di Lorenzo between Zanoli and Big Bart Berezinski is Big Bart Berezinski. All right.
I think we started
now, Berezinski is the better option if Di Lorenzo needs a break or B, time to heal. Okay. So there it is. That's me. That's my opinion. That's it's kind of a fact too, but it's my opinion. All right.
But it's your opinion. It's your fact opinion.
It's my fact opinion.
It's fact. All right. Let's start a 25-minute goodbye so we can get out of here.
We gotta leave. All right. 25. Or what?
Huh? What was that?
I said, didn't this feel good?
It did. It felt natural. I felt like we didn't miss a day, right?
Well, listen, I mean, as the show went on, my internet was better and better, wasn't it? No issues, no stoppages. I think it was just the initial rust. To be fair, I put the new password into my computer seconds before we went online. So
trying to pass the buck to the internet, but it's really you're the culprit, Raff.
Listen, we changed the internet, and I haven't had 10 seconds to do anything else but work, school, shop, Christmas, this, that. Not school. School for the kids. But you know what I mean. It's been nonstop, Raff, as you know. We talked about it in the beginning, but I'm so happy we got back here today. I wanted to go on before Christmas to say hi to everybody.
Yes,
and to show off the tree and our swag, right?
Raff, I'm sorry. Hold on. We forgot. We're giving away a gift for Christmas.
Snap! Forgot about that.
How did we forget?
Music rolling. Let's talk about the gift.
All right. So we made a photo tile of the first quarter beast of the match for the Serie A for Champions League and our beast of the quarter, which was Frank Zamba and Guisa. It's really cool. Something to hang up by the wall. We want to give it away to our viewers. Stay tuned for tomorrow. We will give the contest rules. Rafa, I decided, because remember we bought one for each of us and one for the...
Right.
I'm giving mine away. I'm giving it away to Christmas.
Why is that?
I just wanted to give two people like our artwork.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, I wanted to do something nice. I'm
giving yours away.
Yeah.
Maybe I give mine away.
Rafa, you gonna? So we're gonna have three. No.
I'm not gonna make you give yours away and me not give mine away.
Well, I'm sorry. I should have told you. I felt like
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Listen, we can always
let's make three people happy,
right?
Let's make three people happy.
We can always get more for ourselves.
Yeah,
correct.
We can make more, no problem.
You have it stored in the file.
I have
it, right?
Yeah, I got it. You know me.
Give 3 away.
We're giving 3 away. There's gonna be 3 gifts for 3 of our viewers. We will do the giveaway Christmas. Maybe we'll do a quick little giveaway, but I will put the rules up on Twitter, even in the Discord.
Along with the photo, right? You're going to show
along with the photo. I'll show. Yeah, we'll put everything up. And
it's really cool, guys. It's really cool. What Ralph did here was like sort of kind of compile all of our Beast of the Match photos and that you see on our Twitter post, right on our thread, right, pinned to our top of our Twitter handle. Is the
we got the hook.
All the pictures that you see there, we've compiled.
I'm going to show everybody live.
Right, it's a piece of art. Ralph is going to go get it. We've compiled an art piece, and it looks amazing. Ralph works really hard on all these graphics and all these production value things. Here
it is.
Great. There it is, right here, guys. Check that out. I mean, that thing looks really dope. Listen, we'll give ours away, but we have to order more. I 100% think we should order more. Let's give those away.
We'll definitely order more.
It's beautiful
because they're really cool. I was like, oh man, I want to give more. When
we
had
cool, right?
Everybody in the Discord was like up and running for the past month. I definitely want to. Maybe we'll do like one exclusive for a Discord member. We'll do one Twitter and then one Instagram. Maybe we'll hit all the social medias and take
3 big social spots. Right? Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. So anyway, but let's get a Forza Napoli going in the champ. We got to get out of here, guys.
Let's get a Forza Napoli. Buon Natale. Buon anno.
Forza Napoli.
So, Ralph, next time we're together, right? I think we talked about this.
It was the Monday before the game.
So that'll be Monday, January 2nd. We're going to preview Inter Napoli. Let's try to get maybe we'll try to get a host with us. Maybe we'll or a guest with us for that. Maybe an Inter guy. No promises. Hey, listen, if it's just me and you, it's just me and you. But maybe we'll try for something. And then we're talking about possibly a post match for Inter Napoli, maybe.
It's a Wednesday game, right? I don't know. Well, we'll see. I might actually go to the meet with the.
There's the meet. I won't be able to make the meet.
I'll probably go because it's a Wednesday game, big get match, and on the weekends I can't really make it. So I think I would like to go Wednesday with the Tri-State.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Good for you. Good for you. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm tied up that Wednesday, but awesome. Very good.
Cool. Yes, Peter. I'll be there. I'm more than likely I will be there. I'll give you the final heads up soon. Yeah. But yeah. So there it is.
I think they're also prepping for that big Roma game too, right?
Yeah, we'll have more. Right, we'll have some more information as soon as we get it. We'll put it out, but
January 29th, right? Sunday, January 29th.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a 98% chance I'll be at that.
Okay.
Sunday, Roma, Sunday the 29th. I know Sundays are hard for you, but they're easier for me. Sundays are easier for me than Wednesdays are, so we'll get it done.
All right, cool.
But guys, again, everybody in the chat, thank you so much. Be sure to like, subscribe, do everything that Ralph Pizarro says that we should be doing.
Damn right.
Get your friends, tell your friends, tell your wives, tell your girls, tell your wives and girls.
Tell the Guma,
Tell the Guma, right? Please rate my tree. I would like for you to rate my Christmas tree.
All right.
It used to have lights. I give it. Listen, I'm not gonna say this on air because Allie is gonna probably watch. But when it had lights on it, it was a 10. I'll give it a 9.5.
You a 9.5? Okay.
Yeah,
that's not bad thoughts for losing lights. That's okay.
I do want more. I do want more Napoli ornaments, though, right? I mean, here's one. Right. This is a nice one.
I have a cool idea, Raff. We'll talk about it afterwards.
We'll talk about it.
I gotta get off there.
I
gotta get off there. But anyway, thank you to everybody in the chat. We certainly appreciate it, especially all our audio listeners on the Far From Vesuvius podcast. Rafa, excellent. Look at that.
Guardo
All right. No, just kidding. Just kidding. That was an accident.
Trigger happy. Nah, let's go, Ralph. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming back.
Christopher, go on the official Napoli website.
Oh, yes, the official site. The official site. That's where you can get it. It's dope. I love it. Got some for the kids.
All right.
The tree. Dope.
Folks, thank you again. Thank you to everybody in chat. Rafa, great show. Forza Napoli. Happy holidays to everybody. Look out for our announcements on Twitter.
See you in 23, guys.
23, Happy New Year as well. We'll probably do a little message or something, but we'll see you January 2nd, guys. Until then, Forza Napoli sempre, guys. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.